Session is hereby called to order. May we request the Honorable Member of Parliament, Abdul Wahab Pak, to lead this chamber in the opening prayer.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ridhaka wal jannah wa na'udzu bika min sakhatika wan nar wa min ilmin la yanfa wa qalbin la yakhsha wa du'ain la yasma wa amalin la yurfa. Allahumma la tada' lana zamban fi hadzal maqam illa ghafartah ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا حاجة من حوائجنا في هذه الحياة إلا أعنتنا على قضائها يا رب العالمين. اللهم اغفر لنا يا غفور وارحمنا يا رحيم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. وصلى الله وسلم عليه وصحبه. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursalin alhamdulillah.
Please remain standing for the Philippine National Anthem and the Bangsamoro Hymn.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, ewas sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ang pagaw, ay hinatang tutula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magtitingin. Lumagang araw ng walhaging pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya na pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Simula noon hanggang ngayon, isa ang naging layon. Magkaisa ang magulong, kagitingan ay marugtong. Tumayo tayo mula sa hamon ng nakaraan, niyapos ang panganib na umalang. Sinagako sa puso at paniniwala, ang ginhawa para sa kabataan. Bangsamoro ay tagumpay, bunga ng pawis, dugo at buhay. Kapayapaan, katarungan, ay atin ang nakamtan. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, pagpalain Bangsamoro. Bangsamoro, Bangsamoro, lagi kang mamahalin. Walang pipigil sa damdamin, mga pangako'y tutuparin. Habang buhay kami sa'yo'y magbabantay, mananatili sa puso't isipan. Ang kahapong humimlay na nagbuwis ng buhay, nasa piling na ng may kapal. Bangsamoro ay tagumpay, bunga ng pawis, dugo at buhay.
President is directed to proceed with the roll call.
The members of the PTA Parliament, the Honorables Abbas Ahmad, Abbas Haron,
Present.
Abbas Zulkarnain, Abbas Basit Sarif, Abu Mujib, Adiong Jaur Rahman Alonto,
Present.
Ahang Abdullah, Alamia Laisa, Alauddin Faiz, Ali Ibrahim, Ali Lanang Jr., Ali Dimapag, Alil Cesar,
Present.
Ambuluto Suarto, Ampatuan Baintan, Anayatin Susana, Asmawil Muslima, Balindong Ali Pangalian,
Present.
Bara Hamid Aminuddin,
Present.
Basman Anna Tarhata, Burahan Abraham, Kandaw Bay Malayha,
Present po.
Nandamon Latif Maysara, Diamla Musa, Di Patuan Saprula, Ibrahim Ahod, Ismail Haji Abdul Aziz,
Present.
Gaya Abdullah, Gaira Edward, Hasim Abdullah,
Present.
Hasan Atimil, Iqbal Muager,
Present. Present.
Ismail Rasul,
Present.
Jajuri Raisa, Jakilan Muslimin,
Present.
Jikiri Al-Bakil, Karon Bainon,
Present po.
Lidasan Mussolini, Loong Don Mustafa, Lorena Jose Ribani, Makako Abdul Rauf, Makapaar Abdullah, Makaraya Jamel, Makasalong Marjani, Manguda Dato Kadafe, Mantawil Malik, Mastura Dato Tokaw, Mastura City Syara, Mawali Lamil Bahar, Midtimbang Dato Midpantaw, Mitmog Rasul,
Online.
Mujahid Abdul Muhmin, Munoz Hussein, Oranon Soib,
Present.
Pakasa Mobaida, Pak Abdulahab, Mangandaman Nabila Margarita,
Present.
Ramos Jamila, Rimbang Sultan Edrisa Nasser,
Sir, present.
Sakar Modayaw, Salendal Said, Sally Alstead, Saliga Ronyo, Salik Ali, Sangki Ali, Sani Punduma,
Present.
Satar Al-Sad, Sema Omar Reser, Sema Romeo, Sheikh Said, Silonga Naida, Sulaiman Ali, Tago Paisalin, Tan Nabil, Uja Sahi, Ulama Melanio, Usman Asfar, Jacob Muhammad,
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 19 members inside the plenary hall, and 25 members joining via Zoom, for a total of 44 members of this August Parliament responded to the call. The presence of a quorum is hereby certified.
With 44 members responded to the roll call, constituting a quorum as certified by the Secretary General, the Parliament will now proceed with the conduct of its official business. We now recognize the Honorable Majority Leader, MP Attorney Lanang Ali Jr.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Speaker Ali Pangalian Balindong, Honorable Deputy Speaker and Presiding Officer MP Zia Rahman Adjong, Honorable members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, Secretariat, guests, visitors, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, we are now on item number 6, reading in approval of journal of the previous session. Mr. Speaker, I move to dispense with the reading of journal number 19 of February 17, 2022 session, and I further move for the approval of this, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion to dispense with the reading of the previous session and further move with its approval. Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we proceed to item number 7, resolutions. May we request the Secretary General to read the first proposed resolutions for today's session, including the title, the number, and the authors, Mr. Speaker.
Secretariat is so directed.
Proposed resolution number 576. Resolution directing the appropriate parliamentary committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation to assess the programs and policies of the Bangsamoro government on regional investments with the end in view of crafting a Bangsamoro investment and incentives code. Principally authored by MPs Baintan A. Ampatuan and Amil Bahar S. Mawalil, and co-authored by MPs Liza M. Alamia, Rasul Y. Mitmog Jr., Suharto M. Ambuludto, Don Mustafa Iloong, Safrula M. Dipatuan, and Rasul Ismail.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer this to the Committee on Trade, Investment, and Tourism.
There's a motion that PR 576 to be referred to the Committee on Trade,
Investments, and Tourism.
Trade, Investment, and Tourism. Is there any objection? Hearing none, PR 576 is referred to the Committee on Trade, Investment, and Tourism.
Mr. Speaker, 1 minute suspension.
Session is suspended. Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution for today's session, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is so directed.
Proposed resolution number 579. Resolution urging the government of the day to support the implementation of the CAMS Transformation Plan and its accompanying CAMS Transformation Investment Program to advance the post-conflict and transformation in the Bangsamoro region. The principal authors are MPs Baintan A. Ampatuan and Amil Bahar S. Mawalil, and the co-authors are MPs Liza M. Alamia, Rasul Y. Mitmog Jr., Suharto M. Ambuludto, Don Mustafa A. Loong, Faiz S. Alauddin, Susana S. Anayatin, and Rasul E. Ismail.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer this to the Committee on Rules.
There's a motion that PR 579 be referred to the Committee on Rules. Is there any objection? Hearing none, PR 579 is hereby referred to the Committee on Rules.
Again, Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution.
Secretary General is so directed.
Proposed resolution number 582. Resolution urging the government of the day to classify the sources of funds by appropriation in the Bangsamoro Expenditure Program The principal authors are MPs Bayintan A. Patuan and Amil Bahar S. Mawalil, and the co-authors are MPs Liza M. Alamia, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Suharto M. Ambuludto, Don Mustafa A. Loong, and Rasul Ismail.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer this to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management.
There's a motion that PR 582 be referred to the Committee on Finance, Budget, Management. Is there any objection? Hearing none, PR 582 is hereby referred to the said committee.
Again, Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution.
Secretary General is so directed.
Proposed Resolution Number 583. Resolution urging the Bangsamoro government of the day, through the Minister of Finance, Budget and Management, the Minister of Basic, Higher and Technical Education, and the Bangsamoro Darul Ifta, to conduct Islamic financial education and literacy program in the Bangsamoro region. This is principally authored by MPs Bayintan A. Patuan and Amil Bahar S. Mawalil, and co-authored by MPs Liza M. Alamia, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Suharto M. Ambuludto, Don Mustafa A. Loong, and Rasul Ismail.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer this to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management and the Committee on Education.
There's a motion PR 583 be referred to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and to the Committee on Education. Any objection? It has been seconded. The motion is approved. PR 583 is referred to the two committees mentioned.
Again, Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution.
Secretary General is so directed.
Proposed Resolution Number 587. Resolution urging the national government, Bangsamoro Government Intergovernmental Relations Body, to include in its priority agenda the establishment of an Islamic banking unit within the Land Bank of the Philippines. Principally authored by MPs Bayintan A. Patuan and Amil Bahar S. Mawalil, and co-authored by MPs Liza M. Alamia, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Suharto M. Ambuludto, Don Mustafa A. Loong, and Rasul Ismail.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer this to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management.
There's a motion that PR 587 be referred to the Committee on Finance and Budget. Is there any objection? Hearing none, PR 587 is referred to the Committee on Finance and Budget.
Mr. Speaker, may we request again the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution.
Secretary General is so directed.
Proposed Resolution Number 685. Resolution urging the Ministry of Public Orders and Safety to conduct an impartial investigation on the recent encounter between the Armed Forces of the Philippines and alleged members of Daula Islamia, Mauti Group, in the municipality of Maging, Lanao del Sur. The authors are MPs Ziaur Rahman Alonto Adjong, Maysara D. Latif, Ali B. Sulaiman, Faisali P. Tago, Musa K.S. Jamla, Jamel D. Makaraya, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Wunduma B. Sani, Safrula M. Di Patuan, Basit S. Abbas, and Marjani S. Makasalong.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer this to the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
There's a motion that PR 685 be referred to the Committee on Public Order and Safety. Is there any objection? Hearing none, PR 685 is referred to the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
Again, Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution.
Secretary General is so directed.
Proposed Resolution Number 686. Resolution expressing the profound sympathies and deepest condolences of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament to the bereaved family of former Mindanao State University President Dr. Kamar Ampaso Umpa. The authors are MPs Ziaur Rahman Alonto Adjong, Maysara D. Latif, Ali B. Sulaiman, Faisalin Pitago, Musa K.S. Jamla, Jamel D. Makaraya, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Wunduma B. Sani, Safrula M. Di Patuan, Basit S. Abbas, and Marjani S. Makasalong.
Mr. Speaker, I move to treat this as simple resolution and be transferred for the business of the day.
There's a motion that PR 686 be treated as simple resolution and be included in the business for the day. Any objection? Hearing none, PR's resolution number 686 be treated as simple resolution.
Again, Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution.
Secretary General is so directed to read PR 687.
Proposed Resolution Number 687, resolution expressing the sincerest condolence of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority on the demise of Dr. Kamar A. Umpa and recognition of his achievements and contributions. The sole author is MP Pundumo Bisani.
Mr. Speaker, I move to treat this as simple resolution and be transferred for the business of the day.
There is a motion that PR 687 be treated as simple resolution, be included in the business for the day. It has been seconded. PR 687 is hereby treated as simple resolution.
Again, Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed resolution.
Secretary General is so directed.
Proposed Resolution Number 672, resolution expressing full support and profound gratitude to President Rodrigo R. Duterte for his approval of the recommendations of the Security, Justice, and Peace Cabinet Cluster to maintain the status quo in the composition of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority. The authors are MPs Ali Pangalian M. Balindong, Laisa M. Alamia, Lanang T. Ali Jr., Rasol Y. Mitmog Jr., Soharto M. Ambuludto, Baintan E. Ampatuan, Rasul Ismail, Amil Bahar S. Mawalil, Don Mustafa A. Loong, Nabil A. Tan, Maysara D. Latif, Aisalin P. Tago, Abraham Tiburahan, and Jose I. Lorena.
Mr. Speaker, I move to treat this as simple resolution and be transferred for the business of the day.
There is a motion that PR 672 be treated as simple resolution and be included in the business for the day. It has been seconded. Is there any objection? PR 672 is hereby treated as simple resolution and shall be included in the business for the day.
Mr. Speaker, I move for 1 minute suspension, Mr. Speaker.
Session is suspended.
Mr. Speaker, it is an honor from the Bangsamoro Transition Authority for us visited by one of the idol of the Bangsamoro, former mayor and now aspiring Senator Herbert Bautista, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, to the good gentleman and our honored visitor. On behalf of Speaker Attorney Pangalian Balindong, the officers of the Bangsamoro Parliament, and the rest of the 80 membership of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, we are happy to receive you and to welcome you to the Parliament of the Bangsamoro people. We know that on a personal note, I was with the good gentleman in Lanao del Sur yesterday when he visited the provincial capital, and we were happy to receive him yesterday. If the good gentleman, the former mayor of Quezon City, for the record, he has helped many of our traders in Quezon City. He is known to be a friend of the Bangsamoro and Muslims who are residing in Quezon City, and he was, I believe, the first mayor, local chief executive Quezon City, who opened an office for the Muslims who are trading and residing in Quezon City. So on behalf of those who've been living in Quezon City for the past several years, we thank you for the service you have extended to our community. If the good gentleman, the former mayor and incoming senator would want to address the Parliament, we give him and we offer him the floor to say a few words to the members and to the audience in the plenary present. Your Honor, the incoming Senator Herbert Bistek Bautista.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker Zia Adyong, for that very warm introduction to the members and officers of the Parliament, the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, to our Majority Floor Leader, Ali, to our Speaker Balindong, sa inyo po lahat ng mga kasama natin sa member ng BTA Parliament. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Before I went here, I got to have a small meeting with the Senior Minister and I informed him that I was invited by no less than the Majority Floor Leader Ali to observe the session of the Parliament. And I never thought that I'd be given the opportunity to speak before the Parliament of the Bangsamoro. And I remember before departing our meeting with the Senior Minister, I mentioned that if given the chance to speak before the Parliament, this is going to be a very, very great honor to myself, because I've been wanting to observe and at the same time learn, and more so speak before the Parliament of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority on record, Mr. Speaker. So maraming salamat po. I've read several articles about the struggles of the Bangsamoro people. In fact, there is a book that I read given to me by the OPAP, the Office of the President for Peace Process. And I've not really started reading it. But knowing the history from the time that of President Marcos, when there was a dialogue in Libya, moving forward to BOL, and then now currently BARRM, and then the BARRM extension. It is very clear that the struggle is really very long and tedious, yet we have already achieved a significant number of years in the struggle of really recognizing the Bangsamoro people and its challenges and its desires and its dreams. Rest assured, Mr. Speaker, that with your help and with the help of the Almighty Father, Almighty Allah, inshallah, and I become Senator of the Republic of the Philippines, rest assured of my support to the Bangsamoro people. I have a lot of friends who are Muslims. In fact, one of my close friends, si Bong Alonto, who passed away. Kasama ko pa siya kasi barkada niya ang mga artista like si William Martinez, si Aga Mulak, and who is also a very dear cousin of our Deputy Speaker, Zia. And then, of course, I have another friend who I worked with in the National Youth Commission in 1999 in the year 2000, almost 2 decades or more than 2 decades ago, no less than Asek Penny Disimban of the CDA. And then even earlier, at the time of mid-80s or early 80s, I've known people like then Assemblyman Abbas. I've known one way or the other, several other leaders of the Bangsamoro people. And now, I'm very honored also to be of friends of the Adyong family, the Alonto family, marami, Maganda Datu, kanina, Ampatua, and then Ampatuans, Mastura, and many others na hindi ko pa nababanggit. And that opportunity in running for the Senate opened up more possibilities of meeting, learning from the Bangsamoro people about their dreams and desires for their struggle for peace, progress, and development. So, Mr. Speaker, without much further ado, for and behalf of my family, the Bautista family from Bulacan and Quezon City, I'd like to thank all of you for giving me the honor to be before Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament. Maraming salamat. Assalamualaikum. Sukran.
Thank you to the good gentleman, to our honored guest.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Photo ops tayo, Mr. Speaker. Yes.
Yes. Please, we invite the former mayor and incoming senator of the Republic of the Philippines to join us in front for the photo opportunity. Members, we request members in the Parliament to join us. We think
the Secretary to read the last proposed resolution for today's session, including the title, the number, and the authors, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is so directed to read the title of PR 690, including the names of the authors.
Proposed Resolution Number 690. Resolution expressing profound gratitude to His Excellency President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and the Administration's Security, Justice, and Peace Cabinet Cluster members, Defense Secretary Delphine N. Lorenzana, National Security Council Secretary Hermogenes C. Esperon Jr., Interior Secretary Eduardo M. Anyo, and Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Secretary Carlito G. Galvez Jr., for maintaining the status quo on the current composition of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority in the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The principal author is MP Abdul Mumin A. Mujahid, and the co-authors are by Malaya B. Candao, Cesar H. Alil, Suharto M. Ambuludto, Romeo C. Saliga, Mujib C. Abu, Faiz S. Alauddin, Abdullah B. Hasim, Alsad T. Satar, Muslimin A. Jakilan, Hatimil H. Hasan, and Muslima A. Asmawil.
Mr. Speaker, I move to treat this as a simple resolution and be transferred for the business of the day.
There's a motion that that's PR number 690. Are we done? Are we not done yet of PR 690?
Not yet, Mr.
Okay.
Speaker.
So there's a motion that PR 690 be treated as simple resolution and be referred to the business for the day. Is there any objection? PR 690. None. PR 690 is hereby treated as simple resolution.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are now on item number 8, first stage of bills. May we request the Secretary General to read the first proposed Parliament bill for today's session, including the number, the title, and the authors.
The Secretary General is so directed to read the title of Parliament Bill number 176, including the names of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 176, an act promoting clean water in the Bangsamoro, including safe drinking water through effective water quality management, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. The principal authors are MPs Amil Bahares Mawalil and Baintan A. Ampatuan, and the co-authors are MPs Liza M. Alamia, Suharto M. Ambuludto, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Don Mustafa Elo, Rasul Ismail, Abraham T. Burahan, Siti Sahara I. Mastura, and Paisalin P. Tago.
Mr. Speaker, this is a private member bill. Any members of the Parliament who signify their interest as co-authors may just fill up the co-authorship form that was distributed before this session started. Mr. Speaker, again, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed Parliament bill for today's session.
Secretary General is so directed to read the title of Parliament Bill number 177, including the names and of the authors and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 177, an act creating the Bangsamoro Coconut Authority, establishing its powers and jurisdiction, providing funds therefore and for other purposes. Principally authored by MP Baintan A. Ampatuan and co-authored by MPs Amil Bahares Mawalil, Liza M. Alamia, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Suharto M. Ambuludto, Don Mustafa A. Loong, and Rasul Ismail.
Mr. Speaker, again, this is a private member bill. Any members of the Parliament who would like to be co-authors, just fill up the co-authorship form that was submitted before this session started. Again, may we request the Secretary General to read the next proposed Parliament bill.
Secretary General is so directed to read Parliament Bill number 178, including the names of the author and co-authors.
BTA Parliament Bill number 178, an act promoting the development and utilization of solar energy in all socialized housing programs in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. The principal author is MP Amil Bahares Mawalil, and the co-authors are MPs Baintan A. Ampatuan, Rasul Y. Mitmug Jr., Liza M. Alamia, Suharto M. Ambuludto, Don Mustafa A. Loong, Rasul Ismail, Abraham T. Burahan, Siti Sahara I. Mastura, and Paisalin P. Tago.
Mr. Speaker, again, this is a private member bill. Any members of the Parliament who signify their interest as co-authors may just fill up the authorship form that was distributed before this session started. Okay, Mr. Speaker, we are now on item number 9, second stage of bills. May we respectfully recognize the principal author of BTA Parliament Bill number 103 to give his sponsorship speech on this particular bill. May we request MP Amil Bahar on the bill, an act upgrading that to Halon Sakilan Memorial Hospital into a level 2 hospital, increasing its bed capacity, upgrading its professional healthcare services and facilities, authorizing the increase of its medical personnel and appropriating funds, therefore. May we respectfully recognize MP Amibahar Mawali, Mr.
We
Speaker.
recognize the distinguished gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, MP Amir Bahal Mawalil.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Maraming salamat, Deputy Speaker Adyong, Majority Floor Leader Lanang Ali Jr. at sa lahat ng aking mga kasama sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Mr. Speaker, from the moment we took office as members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, the central challenge we have confronted has been to deliver the needed reforms and services in the region. This includes the setting up of necessary structures, systems, and processes, and the enactment of priority legislation and other deliverables as contained in the Bangsamoro Organic Law. These are services needed by the Bangsamoro people to change their lives from their current state as a result of underdevelopment, marginalization, deprivation, and poverty, Mr. Speaker. In the recent years since the start of the transition, we have taken a series of extraordinary steps to build a new foundation for lasting and sustained growth. But even as we have made progress, we know that the road to prosperity remains long and remains difficult. And we also know that that one essential step in our journey is to provide an inclusive delivery of basic social and healthcare services in the region, especially in the far-flung areas such as the island province of Tawi-Tawi, Mr. Speaker. Being one of the few members of the parliament who hails from the island province of Tawi-Tawi, this representation, along with other Tawi-Tawi MPs, MP Alsaid Sali and MP Eddie Ali, is sponsoring a legislative measure for the benefit of our constituents from the island provinces and to provide a comprehensive and integrated health service delivery for the people in Tawi-Tawi. Mr. Speaker, BTA Bill number 103 seeks to introduce the upgrade and improvement of Datu Harun Sakilan Memorial Hospital into a level 2 100-bed capacity hospital, and in turn, increase the hospital's provision for healthcare staff, medical equipment, and budget for the delivery of various health services in the province. Let me show you a visual representation of how much the people of Tawi-Tawi need this upgrade. This is the province of Tawi-Tawi, which is composed of 11 island municipalities that are distant from each other. Though some of the islands have hospitals or infirmaries, the Datu Harun Sakilan Hospital gets overburdened when many patients go to Bungao at a given time to avail of medical services. Sadly, some of these patients expire while on their way to the hospital in Bungao. The distance they must travel delays the diagnosis and treatment these people solely needs. In emergency cases, such as delays can mean death or lifelong disability due to delayed treatment. When Datu Harun Hospital cannot accommodate these patients, they are referred to the hospitals in Zamboanga City, which is over 300 kilometers away. During the public consultation that was conducted by the Committee on Health of the BTA last March 9, 2022, in Bungao, Tawi-Tawi, which we personally attended, we have received an overwhelming response from the constituents in Tawi-Tawi, as well as from local government officials towards the proposed measure. The call for the hospital's upgrade was due to its overloaded capacity, coupled with the insufficient budget of the hospital, makes it much difficult to implement the health programs and deliver basic health services, especially in remote areas. In addition, Mr. Speaker, the hospital is constantly plagued with an inadequate amount of medical equipment, medicine, and healthcare staff. Let me begin by specifying the difficulties faced by the provincial hospital. First, the only way for most of the populace to visit the hospital is by riding a boat, since the municipalities are scattered on islands. To travel to the nearest level 2 medical facility in Zamboanga City, it takes the average tawi-tawi resident 16 hours to travel by boat, and taking a plane would be too expensive. Second, there is an urgent necessity to upgrade the status of the provincial hospital because of its meager budget for operations, medicines, diagnostics, equipment, and obsolete health manpower complement. Presently, the bed-to-population ratio of the province is at 1 bed for 4,000 persons, instead of the recommendation set by the World Health Organization of 2 beds per 1,000 persons. Mr. Speaker, currently the provincial hospital is admitting daily patients beyond its capacity, around 80 to 100 patients a day all year round. Since its creation in 1974, it remains to be a level 1 hospital with a limited budget for operation and severely deficient health manpower status. Positions for nurses, doctors, and other vital positions are significantly below the WHO standards for human resources for health. Mr. Speaker, to further highlight the urgency, the level 1 75-bed capacity hospital presently has a 150 to 200% bed occupancy rate. This overloaded capacity, coupled with the insufficient budget, which amount is shared concomitantly by 11 rural health units in the province, makes it more difficult for field health workers to implement the health programs and deliver basic health services in the remote areas. Mr. Speaker and my fellow members of the Parliament, we are championing this measure on behalf of our constituents from the island province. The doctors and allied health professionals of Datuhalon Sakilan Memorial Hospital. As a native of the province of Tawi-Tawi, this representation is sponsoring bill with urgency. In fulfillment of our obligations under the Bangsamoro Organic Law, to adopt a policy on health that provides a comprehensive and integrated health service delivery for our people. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
We thank the Honorable MP Mawalil for his detailed sponsorship speech.
Mr. Speaker, yes, Mr. Speaker, I move to refer this to the Committee on Health and Committee on Finance, Budget and Management.
There's a motion that Parliament Bill number 103?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
103 be referred to the Committee on Health and to the Committee on Budget and Finance. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the PR 103 is referred to the two mentioned committees.
Again, Mr. Speaker, may we respectfully recognize the author of PTA Parliament Bill number 121, an act creating the Bangsamoro Printing Office, defining its powers, functions, and responsibility, and for other purposes. May we respectfully recognize MP Baintan ng Patuan, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Lady, the good Deputy Minority Leader, MP Baintan ng Patuan is recognized.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I have the privilege to present BTA Parliament Bill number 121 entitled An Act Creating the Bangsamoro Printing Office, Defining its Powers, Functions, and Responsibilities, and for other purposes, or also known as the Bangsamoro Printing Office Act. Among the many functions of the Bangsamoro government is the promotion of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness in the delivery of public services. It is acknowledged that the government printing needs have significantly declined in recent years in favor of online publications, but there are forms and documents which are mandated by law to be printed in form. Thus, printing of hard copies is not likely to disappear completely. The Bangsamoro government produces a heavy volume of forms, files, and requirements on a daily basis. Hundreds, if not thousands, of the papers are printed in each day. Given this, a lot of expenses are allotted to the printing of these files and documents. With this, it is necessary to establish an efficient government printing and publication system that will cater to the printing needs of the Bangsamoro government to fully serve its people. Hence, this act recommends the creation of Bangsamoro Printing Office, which shall serve as the Bangsamoro government's centralized resource for printing and publishing all kinds of printed materials. The proposed Bangsamoro Printing Office, which shall be under the Office of the Chief Minister, shall provide printing and binding services of the standard accountable and non-accountable forms of the Bangsamoro government, books, educational or instructional materials, and that shall be used by the Bangsamoro learners as approved by the Ministry of Basic Higher and Technical Education, and the printing of public documents such as the Bangsamoro Gazette, Bangsamoro Appropriations Act, and development information materials of the Bangsamoro government. Beside the form and materials listed, the proposed Bangsamoro Printing Office may also accept other Bangsamoro government printing jobs, including government publications and sensitive high quality or volume requirements of the Bangsamoro government. Mr. Speaker, the direct printing by the Bangsamoro Printing Office will save funds for the Bangsamoro government, as the necessary materials and printing will be procured and done by office itself, and thus saving the Bangsamoro government from extra cost. Mr. Speaker, it is for the above-mentioned reasons that I humbly seek for the immediate
period of debate. Would you like to inquire?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, because
please
during
proceed.
the committee meeting...
If you recognize, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, by our Cabinet Secretary of being taken by the government of the day in relation to this hotline system, Mr. Speaker. Maybe we can hear about it so that everybody will know that there are things that are, Mr. Speaker. So that is the reason why I raised my hand, Mr. Speaker. Maybe we can have a minute or two presentation or highlights given by the good majority floor leader, Mr. Speaker.
So are you requesting that the chair of the Committee on Rules to provide us information or background on how the resolution came about or how they were discussed, what transpired during the committee meeting? Is that it, MP Rasmit?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, because during the committee meeting, there was a good presentation done. Then if we just approve this without hearing it, then we will be missing out on things that we have been improving in our government, Mr. Speaker.
Are you ready?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed, Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, at the outset, Mr. Speaker, would like to congratulate the government of the day by making up a community monitoring actionable complaint tracking system. This is an initiative of the Office of the Chief Minister through the Office of the Cabinet Secretary. Mr. Speaker, the government of the day recognized the complaint desk that was established by the national government, the 888, Mr. Speaker. However, based on the experience, this complaint desk number has been used by scrupulous individual, Mr. Speaker, by making a false report or fake news, Mr. Speaker. So the government of the day initiate to create a system. No? Yung sistema na ito yung community monitoring actionable complaint tracking system. Magamit po ito sa pamamagitan ng smartphones at isang yung cellphone na tinatawag natin na featured keypad cellphones. Ito ay isang apps. Doon muna tayo sa smartphone, Mr. Speaker. Ito ay isang apps na pag matapos na itong ginagawa. No? Ginawa po ito ng ating cabinet secretary. Nagkaroon po sila ng meetings kasama ng mga information and communication officers ng Office of the Chief Minister to come up with this kind of apps. Sa this time, Mr. Speaker, ongoing po na patapos na po yung ginagawang apps dito. At doon sa apps ito, Mr. Speaker, ang feature dito, Mr. Speaker, ay feedback and as well as complaint. No? Pwede po tayo magbigay ng feedback kung hindi lang puro negative, Mr. Speaker, pwede din tayo magbigay ng comment na feedback na maganda tungkol sa Bangsamoro government. At pwede din tayo mag-post ng complaint doon sa apps na yun. No? And it will be received by the Office of the Chief Minister and send it to the appropriate minister to give actions doon sa complaint ng isang individual na Bangsamoro. No? Naka-attach po dito sa report na to kung paano po yung takbo, yung diagram ng isang complaint doon sa isang kung paano mag-process yung flow ng communication doon sa smartphones na ito. Isa sa mga katanungan namin nung kami ay nag-committee report, itong complaint desk na ito ay or feedback desk na ito ay naka-focus sa smartphone. So marami din areas dito sa Bangsamoro na walang signal ang internet. Recognize natin yan. May that as it may, ito ay kasama rin sa ordinary cellphone, yung keypad na cellphone na pwede nilang tawagan. May sangguni yung kanilang complaint sa Bangsamoro. Sa practice po kasi, Mr. Speaker, halimbawa sa 888, pag nagtawag ang isang individual, ito ay ang flow ng communication ay from here to the national government and saka pa lang i-feedback sa Bangsamoro. So ang nangyari ay mahaba yung process ng communication. Pero dito sa ginagawa natin sa CMS Acts na ito ay direct na mismo sa Bangsamoro government at action na ng Bangsamoro government. Yung complaint na yun. No? Sa makikita natin dito na unang-una kailangan natin yung internet dito sa pagdating sa smartphone and pwede mag-upload ng for photos, no? At maghintay ng response or specific feedback doon sa ating complaint. And ito ay may sasama sa atin sa complaint natin dito sa Bangsamoro. So yun din po, Mr. Speaker, maghihintay tayo ng ito ay ginagawa at darating sa atin yung 4-digit. Ang intention ng Office of the Chief Minister ay meron din 4-digit numbers na katulad ng 888 ang ma-disseminate at yun ang gagawin na parang complaint number na tatawagan natin sa Bangsamoro. But definitely hindi po siya yung 888 pero 4-digit din ang kalalabasan, Mr. Speaker. So as of this time, ongoing po yung process nila at malapit na silang, ang last na kanilang meeting ay noong February at hindi po ako magsusurprise o magulat na one of these days i-launch na nila itong CMS Acts na ito para sa Bangsamoro na applicable din sa smartphone as well as keypad na featured phone, Mr. Speaker.
So what what the majority leader is telling us is that this app is still in the process of designing.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
By the IT personnel that you have.
Yes, IT personnel.
That you have identified.
Minister, Mr. Speaker.
When do we expect this app to be available online.
Mr. Speaker, nasa in part na po sila ng kanilang deliberation and discussions related dito sa kwan. In fact, dito sa presentation ay nakalagay din dito yung itsura ng apps. No?
Do you have, I see in your attachment, Your Honor, you have hard copies of the presentation. Do you
Yes,
have
Mr.
that? Have
Yes,
we also shared that to the members who are joining us online?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. In fact, may copy silang online dito. Copy yung ating secretariat, Mr. Speaker. So I encourage the secretariat to send this to the members of the Parliament for further study sa kanila, no, Mr. Speaker, to give comments on this.
Thank you. MP Mitmag, do you have further inquiry? You still
No
have
further
the floor.
inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Very satisfied that everybody knows of the effort of our government. Salamat po.
Thank you, MP Mitmag. Any other members? There's a standing motion to close the period of debate and interpellation. Any objection to that motion? Hearing none, the period of debate and interpellation is hereby closed. Acting Majority Leader, please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move forward for the period of amendments, Mr.
Period of amendment by open. What we want to amend is the resolution, not the presentation. Okay, is there any motion to amend the proposed resolution as presented under the committee report? None. Acting Majority Leader, please proceed.
I move to close the period of amendment, Mr. Speaker, and forward for the third and final reading, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. There's a motion to close the period of amendment and further move with its adoption of resolution number 563. Is there any objection to that motion? Hearing none. So there's a motion to adopt, in effect, proposed resolution number 563. No objection. Proposed resolution number 563 is hereby adopted. Acting Majority Leader, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I respectfully recognize the majority leader to elect committee report number 577.
MP Lanangali, the majority.
Committee report number 98. Sorry.
MP Malanangali, Majority Leader, is recognized to deliver his committee report number 98 on proposed resolution number 577. Proceed, Your Honor.
Mr. Speaker, the Committee on the Rules to which was referred, proposed resolution number 577, resolution supporting the policy of the Office of the Chief Minister for the presentation of the Bangsamoro in the affairs of the national government through its agencies and offices as ordained by the Bangsamoro Organic Law, has considered the same and has the honor to report it back to the Bangsamoro Transition Parliament with the recommendation that proposed resolution number 577 be approved without amendments. Before that, Mr. Speaker, the principal author, MP Engineer Baintanan Patuan,
is
the principal author of this proposed resolution, and would like also to congratulate. And it has been a great honor for the Bangsamoro that the President of the Philippines, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Mr. Speaker, this is an addendum to the committee report, Mr. Speaker, has appointed several Bangsamoro officers in the national government. For that, Mr. Speaker, and this is in relation to the proposed resolution. And for that, Mr. Speaker, the proposed resolution number 577 be approved without amendments, respectfully submitted by the chairman of the Committee on Rules, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Acting Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to approve the committee report number, to adopt the committee report number 98.
It's a motion to adopt committee report number 98. 98. Any objection? Committee report number 98 is hereby adopted.
Period of interpretation, the RP number 597.
The period of debate and interpellation is hereby open. on PR 652. Any member? The gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, MP Udja, is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Acting Majority Floor Leader. I just would like to ask though I am co-author of this resolution, but would like to be clarified on the matter pertaining to representation. Will it be done by equitably by province or what? I mean, will all the provinces of BARM be equally, if not equitably, be given the chance to be among the representatives in the national government, given that there are also qualified people from specifically from the Basorta area?
Well, since the committee report recommended without amendments, so we recognize the author instead of the sponsor.
Yes,
The
Mr.
author of PR 5652, the Honorable Lady from Maguindanao, Deputy Minority Leader, MP Engineer Ampatuan, to respond to the query of MP Udja.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for that clarification, Mr. Speaker. In terms of representation with national agencies of the Bangsamoro government, it would really depend on the nature of the agency or department at the national, or body or board at the national, and it gives an opportunity to everyone, be it from mainland or be it from island. What really matters is depending on the type of the representation, if the qualification fits for a particular person that are residing in the mainland or in the island, then this is open to everyone, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am clarified on that point. May we also know if who will determine the representation? Will there be a committee along this line to determine as to who shall represent what in the national government agency?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think the Office of the Chief Minister is the primary responsible office that would recommend or identify whoever is the representative of the Bangsamoro government to whatever body or ministry or offices or concerns at the national level.
So, living by that presumption, Mr. Speaker, I am clarified with the two questions. Thank you very much, MP Bayantan, for that points. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Udja. Any further inquiry from the floor? None. Acting Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to close the period of interpellation.
There's a motion to close the period of interpellation and debate. Any objection? The period of debate and interpellation is hereby closed.
Mr. Speaker, I move to period of amendments, the proposed resolution number
652.
652.
Period of amendment. Anyone from the floor? From Zoom? None. Acting Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to close the period of amendments and we approve the I move for the approval of the proposed resolution number 652.
So there's a motion to close the period of amendment. None, no objection. Period of amendments hereby closed. Further move for the adoption of PR 5652. Any objection to that motion? None. PR number 5652 is hereby adopted. Acting Majority Leader. Congratulations again to the authors.
One minute.
Session is suspended. Acting Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there's a correction. The committee report number 98 is the proposed resolution 577.
Oh, yes.
So now move on the committee report 99.
Yes, I apologize. For the information of the body, there was a correction, a mistake.
So, Mr. Speaker.
There's a mistake. Instead of 652, we announced with the approval of 577. So we bear your indulgence. So there's again, we go back to the previous motion to adopt PR 577 instead of PR 652 with apologies, Your Honors. Motion to adopt proposed resolution number 577. Any objection? Hearing none. Proposed resolution number 577 is hereby adopted. We direct the Secretariat to make the proper corrections of the mentioning of PR numbers. Acting Majority Leader, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, may I recognize the majority to read the committee report number 99.
Majority Leader, MP Attorney Lano Ali Jr. is recognized to deliver committee report number 99 on PR number 652.
Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Rules, to which was prepared proposed resolution number 652, entitled Resolution Urging the Establishment and Implementation of a Strategic Performance Management System in the Bangsamoro Transition Authority and all other agencies in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, has considered the same and has the honor to report it back to the Bangsamoro Transition Authority with the recommendation that proposed resolution number 652 be approved without amendments. Mr. Speaker, respectfully submitted by the Chairman of the Committee on Rules, Attorney Lanang Aling Jr.
Thank you, Acting Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt the committee report 99.
So motion to adopt committee report number 99 on PR 5652. Is there any objection? Committee report number 99 is hereby adopted.
Mr. Speaker, I move to period of interpellation, the resolution number 652.
Period of debate and interpellation is open on PR 652. The good gentleman from Tawi-Tawi, MP Mawalil, is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move to terminate the period of interpellation.
Would you support, Acting Majority Leader, the motion raised by MP Mawalil? To terminate?
Mr. Speaker, I move to terminate the period of interpellation.
So we close the period of the amendment. There's a motion to close the period of amendment on PR 652. Any objection? Hearing none. The period of debate is hereby closed. Proceed, Acting Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to open the period of amendments of the PR number 652.
The motion to open the period of amendment. Period of amendment is hereby open. MP Mawalil.
Mr. Speaker, I move to terminate the period of amendment.
So, do you support that, Acting Majority Leader, the motion of MP Mawalil?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move to close the period of amendments. Mr.
So there's
Speaker.
a motion to close the period of amendment. Is there any objection from the floor, from Zoom? Hearing none, period of amendment is hereby closed.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes, MP Mawalil, you're recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve and adopt this particular resolution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Same motion to adopt from the same MP. Do you support that, Acting Majority Leader?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So there's a motion to adopt proposed resolution number 652 as reported by the Chair of the Committee on Rules. Is there any objection from the floor, from online, from the Zoom? Hearing none, PR 652 is hereby adopted. Acting Majority Leader, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, 1 minute suspension.
Session is suspended. And please take over the floor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are now on the business for the day. Mr. Speaker, since this is only an expression of sentiments, Mr. Speaker, on proposed resolution number 686, I have an omnibus motion to dispense with the period of interpellation and debate, and as well as the period of amendment, and proceed to the period of approval, adoption of PR number 686, Mr. Speaker.
Does the majority leader wish to consolidate these two resolutions since it discussed
Yes,
the
Mr.
same
Speaker.
subject matter?
Yes, I move to consolidate PR number 686 and PR number 687, Mr. Speaker.
So there's a motion to consolidate these two resolutions, PR 686 and
687.
and 687, discussing the same subject matter. Any objection to that motion? Hearing none. PR 686 and 687 is hereby consolidated. Majority
Mr.
Leader.
Speaker, I have an omnibus motion to approve the consolidated, to dispense with the period of interpellation and debate and the period of amendment and proceed to the approval and adoption of consolidated proposed resolution 686 and 687. So I move, Mr. Speaker.
So there's an omnibus motion to dispense with the period of debate and the period of interpellation and as well as the period of amendment and to proceed directly to the adoption of the consolidated resolution 686 and 687 extending the Bangsamoro Parliament sympathies to the bereaved family of the late Chancellor of MSU IIT and late MSU President Dr. Kamar Umpa. Is there any objection to that motion? Before we act on the motion, we sincerely extend our collective sympathies and heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family of Dr. Umpa, former late President of Mindanao State University System, and to the MSU system as a community. PRs 686 and 687 as consolidated are hereby adopted. Please proceed,
Yes, Mr.
Majority
Speaker,
Leader.
we proceed to propose resolution number 672. Since I prefer, Mr. Speaker, to approve this proposal.
To the President, do you have it?
Do you mean the report
Fine.
and
Yes,
the statement
yes.
of the security cluster?
Yes, because I think we need the official copy.
Do we have a copy? Do we have an attachment? I believe it was circulated online.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, does the Secretariat have a copy or in receipt of that statement released last week by this
And also,
security?
Mr. Speaker, we request to the Secretariat to secure that copy and to give to the MPs who would like to request for the copy, Mr. Speaker.
Well, would it satisfy you, MP Saliga, if we proceed with the adoption and then later on we will provide you with a copy?
Just another clarification, Mr. Speaker. Do we really understand the content of that? Because
So do you wish to open the period of debate and interpellation because there was a standing motion to proceed with its adoption since you're already inquiring? I can allow you your questions and we can accommodate your questions.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so we will allow
Yes, Mr.
MP
Speaker.
Saliga
I
to
move
ask his
to open
question.
Yes,
So we open the period of
I
debate
move
and
to open the,
interpellation.
period
Period
of
of debate and
interpellation.
interpellation is open. Please proceed, MP Saliga.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, because I have I read the report and it seems there's a new one, and I don't know if every one of us understand the content really, because the first one is for the member of the BTA. I think that this is also an implication because it's not until year 2025, but until June 2022, because it will be coterminous to the appointing authority. So we just need to clarify this one because we might be expecting too much from this resolution, but actually the content is not as we are think.
So MP
Yes,
Saliga is
MP Mujahid, Mr. Speaker, the principal.
So we will first respond to the question. The question is this statement only covers the current appointment of the BTA or does it covers beyond 2022? I believe that was the question. Majority Leader, since you are the chair of the committee of this committee report, would you like to answer that? Would you like to respond to that?
This is not the committee report, Mr. Speaker. This is the business for the day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the principal author of the proposed resolution is MP Mujahid, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sorry, I'm having a terrible headache. I'm now confused. Who is the chair? Who is the author of this resolution? Oh, MP Mujahid.
Mujahid, Mr.
Yes, MP Mujahid.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The tenor of the very clear. This resolution is merely expressing gratitude to His Excellency President Rodrigo Duterte by approving the recommendation of SDPCC, or rather Security, Justice, and Peace Cabinet, to maintain status quo on the current composition of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority. There is no any additional words or statement in relation to the approved recommendation or approved recommendation by the SJPCC, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker. So it's not beyond even. It's not even mentioned in the whereas of the resolution the period beyond the 2022 or even this coming June 30, Mr. Speaker. So ang resolution lang po merely expressing our thanks, gratitude to the President by approving the recommendation of the Security, Justice, and Peace Cabinet Cluster.
Thank you. MP Saliga, do you have further inquiries? Would you please request that the gentleman from Maguindanao, MP Saliga, to take the other side? Yes, the other podium.
Anyway, Mr. Speaker, just on the clarification, I think he has responded to it.
So you're done with your questions. Thank you, Your Honor. Any further inquiry from the floor?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, but there's a standing motion.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so we first close the period of debate and interpellation.
I move to close the period of interpellation. And
Any objection to that motion? The period of debate and interpellation is being closed.
Mr. Speaker, I move to have an omnibus motion to dispense with the period of. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully recognize MP Baintanet Paton.
So since we have already dispensed with the earlier omnibus motion, we will tackle this separately based on this parliamentary status. Since we open the period of debate, we shall open the period of amendment. We open the period of the amendment. The MP of Patuan, you're recognized with your amendments.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, considering the valid question of MP Saliga, I propose an amendment to the last portion of the resolution that to include a phrase that would say, resolved finally, to request the Office of Presidential Assistance for Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, or PAPRO, a copy of the recommendation of the security cluster to the Office of the President for information and guidance of the BTA. Diba? Hindi natin alam anong totoo.
Is there a presidential secretary, or do you mean to say executive secretary, Your Honor?
I think the
of the PMS.
I was talking about the PAPRO, the Presidential Assistant for Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity.
Okay. Presidential Advisor on the Peace and...
I further amend, Mr. Speaker, that it should be through the Office of the Executive Secretary.
All right. Will the good lady again restate that the office that she mentioned, Presidential Security or Secretary?
Yeah.
For clarification, Your Honor.
No. I'm further amending, Mr. Speaker, that instead of OPAPRO, it should be the Office of the Executive Secretary. Resolved finally to request the Office of the Executive Secretary to furnish a copy of the executive order. Meron executive order? Wala. Recommendation na. Furnish a copy of the recommendation of the security cluster
As approved.
as approved, for information and guidance of the BTA, Bangsamoro Transition Authority.
MP Mujahid, are you amenable to that? Do you accept?
Accepted, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you have further amendments, MP Ampatuan?
No more, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your amendment.
Mr. Speaker, I move to close the period of amendment.
There's a motion to close the period of amendment. Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, period of amendment is hereby closed.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the approval and adoption of the proposed resolution number 690, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to adopt proposed resolution number 650 as amended.
690, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry?
690.
I'm sorry. Yes, motion to adopt PR 690 as amended. Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, PR 690 is hereby adopted. Congratulations to the author.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other in the agenda or business, I move to adjourn this session until tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Mr. Speaker.
So session is adjourned until tomorrow at 1:30 in the afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam.